It's the day we've all been waiting for. Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing, awaits. It is ready to go for the beginning of season 2026. The 2026 season. God, give me time. Give me time. I'm used to saying season numbers here. It's the 2026 season. It is the Tonkin 250 here at Daytona. We're excited to have you here on BRN with us. I'm Dawson Allen. Joining me as always here on Monday nights, it is Enrique Cucalan. Enrique, it's the World Center of Racing. It's Daytona International Speedway. This is the race where anybody can win from anywhere. What can we expect to see tonight in this race after what we saw yesterday in real life with the Daytona 500?
Well, of course, Dawson, glad to be here joining this new, of course, we talked about it the last 2 weeks, but this new era of BRN, of course, with this new FastTrack Cup Series. A little bit of a different, agenda considering how these guys run the exact same tracks of the Cup Series. Most of the schedule is the exact same tracks that the Cup Series races on the Sunday before, of course. So we already have 2 weeks of preparation. We have the Clash, we have the duels, and of course, yesterday's Daytona 500 to sort of guide us here into this race. We have seen it over the last 2 weeks, of course, as well. We have some crazy finishes overall. Last week, in both duels, we had sort of that cease parting situation with both winners from around third or fourth in the pack itself. We saw some big crashes there on the final laps of the duels. But one thing that we've talked about as well a lot over the last 2 weeks is, can the drivers make the top line work? Of course, not only here but also in other leagues, and of course official races. Of course, this past week also being the week of the iRacing Daytona 500. The drivers have just had a tough time working the top side of the racetrack. It's going to be interesting to see if we can see some duos try to work that top side and actually make it work.
Yeah, it was really very much one lane dominant in the race that we saw last week, in the duels as well as the Clash. Even was the same way. You really can only get one line going before you really kind of petered out after a bit. We'll see if that's the case tonight. It's still dependent on just how many cars can get hooked up, who can work together, who all you got as friends, who all you got, just everything. There's a lot that goes into this. It is such a art that's underappreciated, I think, for a lot of people still, in what's got to be done to make it stick, to make it work, and to try to get to the front and try to win here at Daytona. But if there's a couple guys that know how to do it, it's our defending winner, including Jeffrey Marble and his son Tyler Marble, both former winners of this race, this very race, I should say, here at Daytona. You've had those two have had the victory lane. Danny Gutierrez is a winner back in 2023, and then Jake Hickson won back in 2024. But Jeffrey Marble, the defending race winner in the number 15 machine, he looks to see if he can go back-to-back and become the first multi-time winner at this race here tonight, and he'll have a pretty good starting spot to do so.
Yeah, of course. One thing that I did notice is that both the Clash and the duels were won by a Ford. And now I know that doesn't mean that we're gonna see Fords dominate, but of course, we've seen it 3 times already with the Clash in both duels. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ford, a driver in a Ford car, in a Ford Mustang, go to victory lane here tonight.
And you mentioned those exciting finishes we saw in those duels. We had that 10-lap heat race as well after the duels that put on a pretty fun show as well. And it all could culminate into tonight. We saw it in real life, the crazy hectic finish at Daytona that led to Tyler Reddick scoring his first ever crown jewel victory at the Daytona 500. Could we see the same tonight that leads to another driver scoring their first career win? Just 6 minutes away, just over 6 minutes away from the start of the Great American Race here.
With this being a day race, sort of comparing to the Clash, track temp currently 91 degrees here in Daytona. One thing that we did see at the Clash, considering that was a day race, is drivers they moved a lot, and sometimes they got loose on the entry of the corners, on the exit of the corners. So these drivers out here in practice right now, they have to be careful considering they're going to be in a big pack once the green flag flies, and one wrong move can take out half of the field.
Yeah, it just takes one wrong move, one mistake, and the entire field goes kaput. And so the driver's going to have to be on edge and making sure that they're making the right moves at the right time to put themselves in position to win here at Daytona. So coming up on just 5 minutes left before we hit the grid, and we'll go through our starting lineup and show you how everybody is going to be starting tonight's race, from what row, where they're at, and we'll see how this field shakes out in the first couple laps. Of course, it's a 250 lap race, or 250 mile race, 100 laps, my bad. It's going to be a feeling out process at the start of the race, for sure. And I'm not sure fuel mileage-wise what we're looking at. I can imagine it's going to be about maybe 35 to 40 laps, but I could be wrong. Enrique, you'd have to be the one to kind of fact check me on that, but just kind of what we're looking at is what's going to be a one or two stop race, maybe 3 stops for these drivers to get to the end of this race to try and get to victory.
Of course, you'll have to give me here a few minutes to get the fuel numbers correct. I want to speed up considering iRacing doesn't show the actual fuel number once you load inside the car, so give me a few minutes here, I can go through that.
Well, as you do that, we'll throw it down to one of our sponsors for tonight's race and send a message from Tonkin Chevrolet.
Hi, this is Jeff from Tonkin Chevrolet, and we've listened to what our customers want. Honesty, transparency, and a place they can trust with their vehicle.
And when it's time to service your car, pull on up to one of our service doors and head on inside where one of our service advisors will assist you. They'll go over everything that's happening with your car. No surprises, no confusion. We want you to know what's happening every step of the way.
We service anything and everything from EV to diesel trucks. Most importantly, we make sure every vehicle leaves here running smoothly and safely. Once your car is in our care, our professional technicians will treat it as if it's their own or one of their family members. While you wait, you can relax in our comfortable lounge, enjoy a cup of coffee, and know that your car is in good hands.
And when your service is complete, our team will get you checked out and back on the road with confidence, wishing you many safe and reliable miles ahead.
At Tonkin Chevrolet, we'll take care of your vehicle like it's one of our own.
I want to say a special thank you to Tonkin Chevrolet for being the title sponsor of tonight's race. Look forward to seeing how things all shake out. One of the drivers, Jeff Shutt, he'll be here tonight. He'll be racing in this field number 27 machine. We'll see how he does and if he can take it to victory lane in just 100 laps time. So time is just ticking down, just waiting to see. The anticipation builds at a moment like this. It is getting down to it. We're coming down to the end of practice. You're getting your final laps in the pack. You're getting your final laps in trying to come to pit road. You're getting your final just rest session. You're finally getting just settled into your seat. You're getting ready to go racing. You're getting ready for everything. You're gearing up for it all. What is that last minute prep like for the drivers?
Yeah, of course, you just want to check. Of course, some drivers here have teammates, and of course, the teamwork is key to success here at these restricted plate tracks. You gotta know where your teammates are starting. You know, if they're starting at the front, if they're starting at the back, to sort of like create a strategy where you and your team can work together. Not only work together, but also pit together, because we see it sometimes. The drivers coming up pit road, especially up pit road and back onto the racing surface, they do not get aligned quickly enough, and sometimes that creates sort of 3-4 car trains that, for example, we saw last night in the Daytona 500. But if you have that teammate, if you have that communication with your team, that could result in a better run to the end, of course, not only for you, but for your team, and hopefully be in position to get the win here in Daytona.
Yeah, and it all comes down to just execution. You have to execute. You have to put yourself in a position to win this race. And you've got to work with the right people. You got to find your friends where you can find them, whether that be a teammate, whether that be somebody that just happens to be next to you. It all just comes down to your execution and getting onto pit road properly, making sure that you get your car in the right place at the right time. You want to put yourself in position to win this race, and if you don't, you're going to be left kicking yourself thinking, what did I do wrong? So the warm-up is coming to a close, and with that, it means we're getting ready to head into driver intros, or more so just the starting lineup, if anything. But I wish we had driver intros. That'd be pretty cool, I guess. But
Yeah, that'd be cool.
we don't have that. We don't have that ability. We can't do that here. But it'd be cool. Might have to be an idea that I come up with at some point for this field. Anyways, Daytona lies in wait with just 3 seconds left in the warm-up. Here we go. We have got a field of what should be 37 cars for tonight, ready to go racing. Let's take you through how they're lining up in tonight's event as we get ready to go racing here at Daytona. And we'll start it off with your front row, the top two from qualifying. It was the number 19 of Ty Ippolito with Tracy Powers on his outside. Your dual winners, Sean Kaltenbach and Kenneth Bartholomew, both survived the chaos there. Can they survive it tonight to win? Yeah, Kyle Oakley and Ryan Hendrick together in row 3. Row 4, it's Cody Matthews and Jake Hickson, a winner back in 2024. And then Jeff Shutt and Thomas O'Hara rounding out your top 10.
The Musso Missile, Jacob Musso and Glenn Brixby make up your 6th row. Number 7, Bill Benedict and Alan Pajari. Row 8, it's Joshua Biddle and Ryan Haynes. Danny Gutierrez and Andrew Neither, 2 winners here in Daytona. They make up row number 9. And running out your top 20, it's Roger Rios Matias and Jeff Marble.
Starting in 21st tonight will be the number 37. That is Brian Conklin. He's got Tyler Marble, a winner at this race, on his outside there in 22nd. John Broussard is 23rd with Jared Bundy on his outside in 24th. You see row number 13. It's the 57 of Joshua Johnson and Brian Dubel. You got Brett Spade and Quentin Clark together in row 14. And rounding out the top 30, it is Andrew Moore Jr. and Albert Williams.
Row 16, it's Andrew Russo and Jarrett Lipshaw. Brandon Saylor and James Wallace make up row number 17. Row 18 is Jeffrey Sosa and Matthew Geringer. And running up your field of 37 here is TJ Bartle, 26.
Accidentally popped this up earlier, we'll pop it up now. We got 100 laps of racing, 248 miles is what it shows, which is kind of odd that it shows only that many miles. Your defending winner, the number 15, Jeff Marble. He'll be starting in 20th place tonight. Can he do it back to back? 32 to 36 laps is the fuel estimate, so 3 stops possible. Should maybe be able to get it in 2, though, if you're able to stretch it enough. Partly cloudy skies, the track temperature is 90 degrees. Getting ready to go here in Daytona. It's that final bit of anticipation. Your heart's racing. You're finally in your seat. You got the wheel in your hands, and you are pacing around for one final lap before the season officially kicks off. This is the race you want to win. This is the race you want to be known as being a winner of. These hallowed grounds have had many historic winners. Names of Petty, Johnson, Earnhardt. Tonight these drivers look to add their names to that list. They look to be the ones to conquer Daytona and to kick off 2026 on the right foot. We'll see who's able to get it done here in 100 laps time. Ippolito and Powers, the front row, march to the start line. Green flag is out. We're racing at Daytona. Lap number 1, here's your pole sitter. out in front of the field. Second place right behind him is the pusher, Sean Kaltenbach, your winner of dual race number 1 last week here at Daytona. As the field, you see that outside lane already kind of starting to drift back a little bit. Tracy Powers trying to lead it forward, but instead it's just fading back. Really not doing what it needs to do to get to the front and battle for the lead.
And I think, like we've talked about it, the main issue with the outside lane is the gap between the race cars. Of course, you practically, if you're the second car on the top side of the racetrack, you practically car all the way around this racetrack. Take up that ground. Not only that, you also have to have good pushers behind you as well. With this next-gen car, you have about 3 or 4 cars consistently pushing to make up the ground that you need to have go up to the lead.
And right now, this outside lane just does not have it. They're fading back to 7th place on that inside line. And just dropping further back. More cars in the inside line, dropping down, I should say, from the top lane. It's just going to be a bit of a chaotic start for sure, because they have to just kind of sort themselves out. They have to figure out where they want to be, how they want to be, before they can really get too deep into it. This field is nice and spread out, I would say, for a split second there. Not really tight on each other on the outside lane, not door to door. They're kind of giving a lane in the middle. They're not down side drafting, which is nice to see for sure.
And of course, the drivers know that it's a 100-lap race. It's only lap 4. You know, just settle in, getting the rhythm, try to find people that you can work with, and of course, set yourselves up. We are probably not going to see the amount of fuel saving that we saw in yesterday's Daytona 500. You talked about probably having to make about 3 stops. The drivers will definitely, I think, save a bit of fuel to hopefully make that stop shorter at the end. But of course, we're probably not. You're definitely not going to see 3 wide 40% throttle racing. These drivers, they are not going to put on that type of show.
Yeah, I think the fuel saving stuff is more so for the pros than it is for the guys that are out here having fun on a Monday night racing here and iRacing. So we'll not see the fuel saving strategies. You won't see them 3 wide running at 70% throttle. You'll see them just kind of running their line. They might get this train going, and this is the thing that you might hear that kind of statement if we're watching a real race at times. You know, that statement has been made before. Train racing. And what that is, essentially, everybody gets lined up nose to tail in one lane and one lane only, and we ride around the track. We turn our laps. We take our time. We don't push too hard. And you can kind of see this field is really shifting down to the bottom lane right now, really getting lined up. And there's no problem with that, really, at least for these drivers. The drivers are thinking in their heads, it's lap 5. This race does not end on lap 6. This race ends in 95 laps. There's no need to push right now. There's no need to try to force the issue right now. There's some guys that have moved up, but there's no need to try to send it here. Don't try to shove it on the outside and make a lane work. Just ride. Just take your time and just ride. And there's somebody that's riding right now, the guy that's dropped all the way to the back of this field right now. I think he ended up he missed the grid. That's Jeff Marble in the number 15, the defending race winner. He is by himself right now on an island compared to the rest of this field. Started on pit lane, so he is currently out of the draft. He is not in the pack with the rest of the field. Would be an issue if we get to the point where he gets lapped.
Of course, if he gets lapped, he doesn't need anybody behind or in front of him. For example, last car currently in the train is the 96 of Jeffrey Sosa. He doesn't need that 96 car to lose the draft. He needs everyone to stay in line on the field to hopefully catch a caution and get the lucky dog.
Yeah, if he gets a yellow flag in this race, I mean, he's fine. Right now, everybody's in the lead draft except for him. He's got a long race ahead of him. It's not like it's going to be a killer of this race here, but just definitely something to keep your eyes on. Definitely something to keep in touch with. The fact that he's going to end up right now out of the draft, likely to go a lap down the next couple laps. He's turning a 49.83 compared to a 46.4 for the race leader. So it's just really going to be a matter of when they catch up to him and decide to start, when they get to a lap, essentially, when it gets down to.
And that training mentality has really picked up on 3 cars on the top side now, all the way in the back of the field.
you know, there's not a problem right now. Just lap 8. I like this sometimes. Especially with this package, everybody's kind of just not wanting to be the one to jump outside and shuffle. Like, you can see there's only 3 cars up there on that top side. It's a chess game. You can't win in the first 3 moves unless you are that good and your opponent is that dumb. So aka me playing chess with my 5-year-old nephew. But as we roll up here, lap number 9 underway, Ippolito is very happy just being the lead car. He doesn't mind it. He's getting good pushes by Kaltenbach as they make their way down towards turn number 1. You got 2 cars lined up to go, 2 teammates right there. That is Kyle Oakley and Cody Matthews, the 17th car right there. And Jeff Shutt here is in 5th place. Up here in 5th now. Another member of this team. 3 of them all right there lined up together. Team cars. Nice to see that. Black Wolf Racing. Or Black Wolf Racing, pardon me. She mentioned that the pace setters this weekend, this week, maybe the past couple weeks as a whole, you say weekend, this point, has been the Mustangs, has been the Ford camp, has been Ippolito on pole, Kaltenbach and Bartholomew winning the duels. I mean, it's really just been a blue oval factory here at Daytona. And right now, everybody's holding the line right now. The top 3 are all part of the blue oval camp.
The winner of the Clash, Andrew Meter in the 36. Even though he may be at the back of the field, he won that race here in Daytona in a Ford. Add another one to the list there. Blue ovals.
And right there, one of only 2 cars in the outside lane. Him and Albert Williams up here on the top side trying to get something first, but they're back here in 32nd and 34th. You're not going to get anything going in this position. I mean, it's a noble cause. It's noble to try it, but you are just not going anywhere. There's not enough help there to go anywhere. You're just stuck in place. And you can just see this inside line. You see how dialed in they are on that bottom lane. You got a car picking up ahead. I think it's Tom Sonara in the number 07 machine. But it's really just, there's going to be nothing really happening. So we get pit stops, I think is what we're at. As you see, Nieder finally drops in 36th in line. They are lined up nose to tail here at Daytona on lap number 11. I think they're catching Marble now. I saw him, I think, ahead on the front stretch. And indeed he is. He's getting ready to be lapped here by the field. And he'll have to try to catch this draft because the last thing you want to do is get lapped and then miss the pack.
He's going to be moving to the top side of the racetrack, let the field go by, and then catch the draft at the back.
He's going to be quick about it, and I think it's going to be really dangerous, you know, because they're single file. This is where it really gets tricky catching the draft. You have to pretty much be in it. You have to be on it. You have to be right down there with it, catching some drafts on some of these cars, side drafting a little bit, if you will. If you're going to want a chance to catch this. He might catch a break here at some point. You see Danny Gutierrez jumping outside lane there of Joshua Biddle in the number 76 car. He's going to jump ahead. He's going to give a shot to Marble. He might get him pushed up, and he might give him enough room, enough clearance to get down. Indeed, he does. Oh, wrecking in the background. It's a slide and double, the 87. I think it's also Joshua Johnson, 57. They spin out. They're both in the very back of the pack going for now. Johnson almost getting himself stuck here. He might get stuck on the apron. He gets down. He gets around. 2 cars go around. They lose the draft. No caution. We stay green. We'll jump back real quick and see what happens. That gets us back double file. More cars trying to go the outside lane, at least further back in the field. But we got to take a quick jump back on the BRN replay on that one to see what happened to the 87 and the 57. I think that was just a big part of a checkup, that entire line right there all together. Everybody stacks up, everybody trying to miss it, and then right there, contact 25 into the 57, into the 87. And they were extremely lucky to not slide up the track into anybody, to not slide up in front of anybody else, and also to not get stuck like the 57 almost does here on the apron. What that's done also too now, Enrique, the top 19 have got about a 3-second gap, pulling 20th on back.
Yeah, and of course, another point of view of that situation is that does not help Jeffrey Marvel. He is currently in the pack and in the first pack, so if they catch with the 87 and the 57, Jeff Marvel is right up there with the leaders, with the top inside of the top 10 currently, or what would be the top 10. Of course, it's going to generate a battle for the lucky duck here if it gets to a point where caution doesn't come out before they catch the 87 and the 57.
So the 87 and 57 right now are exiting turn 4. They are coming down the front stretch towards the tri-oval. The lead pack is in the middle of 3 and 4 right now. Still penciled in the next 2 laps, I would say, for sure, if not this next lap. Marvel got lucky that he had somebody that jumped out of line to push him and to get him enough momentum to be in line with the rest of this field. He got a lucky break. He got a friend. Do the 57 and 87 have a friend here that'll cut them some slack, get them a gap, get them down in this draft, and give them a chance at surviving here? You see the lead pack in the background coming down the backstretch. And when you're a lap car at Daytona, it's like hearing Jaws music. That's all you hear. You just hear the anticipation. You look in your mirror and they just keep getting bigger and bigger. They're closing in on you much faster than you could imagine. And all you can do is just watch them go by. You can't stop them. You can just watch them go by. So they're in the middle of 1 and 2 right now. Leaders currently making their way into the entry. 46.5 last time by for the leader compared to a 48.4 for those two by themselves. Second pack is slightly faster in catching. Tracy Powers leads that group as they're trying to pull back into the race. There's 2.4 seconds back right now of the top 19. And I see Jeff Shutt keep fanning out there up to the top lane when he comes off turn 4. I don't know if he is just drifting up that way or if that is the case, if that's just what he's trying to do to get clean air. But he drifts up that outside. I worry about that because the moment he does it, I think that 95 might try to capitalize and take advantage of him washing up out of line.
I'm not really sure if he's looking for clean air, because if you're just driving and riding in line, not really pushing your teammates ahead, there's no reason for the car to get hot or experience any overheating problems. And of course, with these next-gen cars, you don't have that option to put tape on the grill of the race car. So I'm not really sure what the 27 has right now, what he is thinking about. But he certainly likes to do it, so I'm not really sure if this is strategy or anything. But we'll have to keep an eye out on it as the race continues.
Leaders entering turns 1 and 2. The 2 lap cars up ahead of Brian Dubel and Joshua Johnson. Jeff Marble, of course, in this lead pack as a lap car. He's the only car on lap down thus far in the race. There's 2 more that are about to be going a lap down as well. These pushes by Kaltenbach, he is doing a fantastic job. Gets right on the back bumper just as soon as they get on the front stretch, and he is able to just shove this 19 out in front. They put a gap on Oakley every time they do it. See right here, he gets hooked up, nose to tail, they push down the front stretch, and that time Oakley's right there with him in the draft. But at some times, they've been able to really just kind of gap this field for a bit before coming back down to reality. And that second pack is still 2 seconds back. They cut some time, then they lost some time. They're trying to push back forward and get back in the battle with the lead draft. Currently led by your outside pole sitter of today's race, that being Tracy Powers, back in place right now. This field maneuvered. He's got 80 laps to go. Yeah.
Yeah, already a 5th all the way through here in Daytona.
It's like you read my mind. Ippolito pretty much led the entire race thus far, I would say, from the pole. Kaltenbach is second, Oakley third, Matthews fourth. Jeff Schutt is currently fifth as they make their way into 3 and 4. You haven't missed much so far if you're just tuning in. It's been pretty much this. We had a slight incident that just about took out a couple cars. The two that were involved, Brian Dubel and Joshua Johnson, are about to be lapped here by the race leaders. They're coming up on them here to the tri-oval now. We'll see what these two decide to do to get out of the way of the leaders. Do they go low, or do they stay low? Do they go high? Who knows? We're going to find out here in just a second what they decide to do with the leaders fast approaching.
Meanwhile, behind, the second pack led by Powers is only 1.3 seconds behind the lead pack, quickly making up that lost ground.
Now, the only downside really to Ippolito leading this race, and then I guess at the same function being Powers leading that second group, is the fuel mileage, the saving fuel. We're not seeing it as drastic as you see in real life, obviously. They're not going to be full bore, 70 miles an hour or 70% throttle, just like saving fuel in a 3-wide situation. What this field is doing is they're pushing, but they're drafting. They're still staying in line, and they're still saving fuel, just kind of the old-fashioned way, instead of this newfangled 3-wide fuel saving stuff that we have in real life. So what they're doing is they're all lined up nose to tail. They're staying in line with someone. They're not wanting to lead a line, and they're wanting to just ride. Save a little extra fuel. Pit a little bit later than the rest of the guys. See if maybe pitting a little bit later gets them a little extra advantage later in the race, or even if that is, try to get them less pit stops to get to the end of this race. Ippolito is just full bore. He's not being able to save any fuel because he's having to punch the hole in the air for the rest of the field. They're able to follow through with his draft. They're able to save a little bit of fuel. They're able to take it a little bit easier, and they're able to stretch this a little bit longer than the 19 is going to be able to.
And meanwhile, the field has caught Brian Doolittle and Joshua Johnson. It's up to them to try to find a spot here where they can fit in. Currently a 2-car tandem around the outside here to make their way into turn number 3.
Holding the top side, and the field coming by. Jeff Marble right there, the 15. He's on the inside lane, that black number 15, trying to see if he can get by them both and be in the lucky dog position if we were to get a caution here. They're holding serve on the outside.
Yeah, currently our 3 lap cars are together. Of course, Marvel in the train of some sorts right now. Gonna get past both the 87 and the 57, so now move Jeffrey Marvel into the lucky dog spot.
And they're going to start to drop back on the outside of this group. See a car peeking out from the back there. I think that's James Wallace in the 67 car. Jumps to the outside lane. He's going to try to see if he can take a run and pick up some spots. And that's another thing with this type of racing. You can see drivers make moves to try and pick up positions. It's just a frisky business doing that. You have to really be perfect on your moves. You cannot make a mistake, make a miscalculation. You have to send it and you have to stick it with it. And the 67 car right now, James Wallace is sticking with it. He's going to get the draft off of the lap cars, which I think are his teammates as well. So he'll ride it out with them for now in the outside lane. Faced a few spots,
meanwhile,
but
the gap for the second pack not really coming down. 6th last lap, but yeah, running a massive run down the back stretch, however. Still trying to make their way back up here to the main train.
gap between the 1.2 seconds, getting close enough to a point where Tracy can start to maybe catch a draft off of the tail car. That's the 47 of Ryan Hedrick. See if they can't get a draft off of him and see if they can't pull closer. I see, though, that outside lane is only 3 cars, but man, is it moving. It looks like they're able to start pushing forward. Conklin is making moves forward. He down ducks back in line on the inside line, but he gained some spots there as a result. Or actually, pardon me, it was the 67 that I was, James Wallace, that was on the outside lane. He is up already almost to the top 10. He's moving forward with this 3-car tandem.
Best case scenario here is if he can find a spot on the inside to drop back in, because at some point that 67 car is going to have to pit. Of course, we're probably going to see that in the next 5 to 8 laps here in Daytona. He's just pushing those 2 lap cars ahead to see if he can find a spot to drop in.
Look at Marvel thinking about jumping outside lane. He's going to protect the lucky dog if he can. He saw that outside lane starting to come. He decided to jump up there and protect from them to keep them from getting the lucky dog from them. They're going to stay with him. They're going to push him. But this is going to be a little tight here. The pushes they're going to have, they're going to be all over each other's bumpers. Any kind of wrong push, a push on the quarter panel, a push not square and center. We've seen it in real life. We saw it in duels last week. It's going to send you around, and it could take out some more cars with you.
And the worst push you can receive here in Daytona is one off turn number 4. We have seen it not only here in the iRacing side of things, but also in real life. We've seen it in the Craftsman Trucks race, in the O'Reilly Series race. Not really sure we saw it last night in the Daytona 500, but if that was the case, oh my goodness, the 57 got a bad push there for the 68. And the 67, that's what I'm talking about. Getting a bad push that upsets the car, even though it distracts them, the car can just go around on you with a bad push.
It just takes a bad bump. It's all it is. These cars are so stable until they get a push in the wrong direction, and then they go around, and they go, and they snap, and there's no saving it. Now the second pack has caught back up to the lead pack. They are back here on the tail end of this group, and they're not really making moves yet. Nobody's trying to jump the outside except for I think maybe one car. I think up ahead. I can't see. I think it might be the 41 of Andrew Russo. He's jumped to the outside lane. He's made some ground up because of that jump to the top side. Driving a little bit forward to 12th place now, just about battling with Matthias. But this outside lane, I mean, it's small, but it's working right now. Somehow, some way, they're marching forward with the lead car being a lap car, Jeff Marble, and then as well, Brian Dubel and Joshua Johnson, the top 3 on the outside lane. They're all a lap down. They're all in to get the trying to fight for the lucky dog position. Behind them, you got the 67 car, of James Wallace, as well as the 41 of Andrew Russo. 2 cars that are on the lap, battling for position. And we talked about how hard it was to get this outside lane going. Somehow, some way, 5 cars are making it work. And this 67 has jumped from what was 19th place now up into 8th.
This outside to just sort of become equal to them. And one interesting situation that, may result as a part of this outside lane getting these huge runs, to get another one coming here in turn number 3, is if Marble manages to get in front of the 19 of Ippolito, that will put him back on the lap. So then the free pass would pick out to the 87 of Brian Dubel. So that then puts the 57 in a tough position regarding the free pass. So we'll have to see how that situation continues to evolve here in this next few laps. Oh my goodness, a 57, yet another bad bump there in the middle of the corner.
All over the place, still gathering it up, and that's going to really hurt this outside line big time. He gathered it up, he saves it, keeps it straight. We stay green for now, but you see how quickly the 15 was just about side by side with Ippolito, and now he starts to drop back. Now side by side with 5th place Jeff Schutz. We're going to have to regather if we don't have pit stops coming up here in the next lap or 2. But when they start coming, there will be a lot of action on pit road for what will be the first pit stops of tonight's race. And I was going to say before that incident happened with 57, if you're Ippolito, do you have a problem with one of the lap cars leading the field for you?
I feel like that situation would be actually better for Ippolito, considering he had to just right behind that lap car, save a little bit of gas, add to his fuel number, and hopefully get on strategy with the rest of the field, considering, you talked about it earlier, Ippolito has been the car that has just had to punch a hole in the air and lead this field full throttle.
He said the fuel went about 32 to 36 laps, expecting pit stops here coming soon in this race. The outside lane is now petered back out, fading further back, now back to 15th for Wallace. Now he's just trying to find a hole to get back in, and he's not really getting it. The 41 of Andrew Russo got down at just the right time. He took a 10th place spot, so he climbed all the way up from what was outside of the top 20, now into 10th place. You see Wallace, he slides down in front of Ryan Haynes, who's going to decide to keep with him, and he'll stay behind him for now and let him down in, and he will fall back. It's only a net gain of 1 spot now as a result of how that all played out for James Wallace. He started all that 19th, jumped to the outside lane, got all the way up as close as 5th place, and now he finds himself back in 18th.
Marvel's still trying to work the high side with Ryan Duell. They have lost to 67 of James Wallace. It was just the 3 lap cars at the top side of the racetrack. Lap 35.
Just waiting to see when this field decides to make their first stops. The fact they've gotten 35, I think we're going to be a 2-stopper here. It's going to be a 2-stop affair, and that's that.
And of course, fuel wind around 32 to 36 laps. Of course, that can vary with the amount of fuel saving these guys have done.
Yeah, they've been saving fuel this whole time. They've been in the draft. They've been just kind of riding it out. They could very easily be in a good spot to just have a good clean run to the end with only this 1 extra stop after this. Nobody yet calling to come to pit road. I can't hear it, so I wouldn't know. But everybody so far staying up on the racetrack. Don't see anybody slowing down yet into the back of the pack. Everybody still racing on lap number 37. Fuel mileage might have been off a little bit, just a little bit.
Of course, iRacing likes to play around with field numbers and how it dictaminates that and how it shows it on the UI, of course. There's a few instances where you might run a few laps and then it shows another number. So, might have been a little bit of a miscalculation error on iRacing's end.
Is what it is. It happens, but the outside lane is just the 3 lap cars right now. Marble, Duell, and Johnson lead that outside line as we hit lap number 38 this time by. A little bit of uneasiness on that inside line, really kind of shuffling about as they make their way.
One interesting thing that we'll see here as Jeff Marble drops down to the bottom now once again. One little thing that we're gonna have to see here is, you know, communication between these drivers coming down pit road. With the entire field being on the inside lane, not really sure how many cars will pit at what point. But of course, we've seen some incidents, not only here on iRacing, but also in real life with drivers, you know, just locking up the brakes, spinning out, and sometimes making contact with each other. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that as the pit cycle here continues, and hopefully pit stops here soon.
Making their way back toward the tri-oval, heading back for the start-finish line this time to complete lap number 39. We're getting close to the halfway point of this race. Very calm. Very calm. We had the one incident earlier on, didn't lead to a caution flag being drawn. 2 cars spinning on the apron, and that being 2 cars that are currently a lap down, Brian Duell and Joshua Johnson. They're back on the inside line now. They're back in line with the rest of the pack Of course, they are a lap down. Jeff Marble ahead of them is also a lap down. He missed the grid, so he started on pit road. And you can just see the single file line. They are all lined up, nose to tail now. All 37 cars on track, just lined up, driving.
Yeah,
we'll see if that changes.
And I have reports that drivers are coming down pit
Here
road
we
this
go.
time.
Coming now. Everybody getting down, spreading out as they can to get to pit road safely as we have pit stops underway here at Daytona.
Just great job by the drivers communicating. You know, you're coming down pit road, not really hitting each other, not spinning out. Of course, we're going to see the other end of that deal once the drivers come off pit road. Everyone taking tires, of course.
Everybody's going to take some tires, get some feel goods on, and get things ready to go rolling. As this second group should be heading to pit road this time as well. Maybe not. Staying out an extra lap. It is the race leader. That is Bill Benedict in the number 90 machine. Haven't mentioned his name yet tonight. He's been kind of up here in the top 10 the whole time. But he will be your race leader. Now we watch to see if there's any penalties on pit road. Got 5 more cars that came down this time. O'Hara, Williams, Souza, Geringer, and Bartel all came down together. Of this big group, I see no penalties.
Caution is out.
Car around in the backstretch.
Jr.
Nose to the outside wall. And this will be big for the group that was just on pit road, I believe. That should put them as the leaders. If that does,
oh my goodness,
that would be Thomas O'Hara as your race leader. If that's the case, we'll go back and see what happened, but I did see Andrew Moore Jr. was in the outside wall, nosed up against it. But we'll have to double check and see on that with our BRN replay to see what happened to the number 77. This was coming off of pit road. Of course, he was part of the big group of cars that all came to pit road together. So he's rolling off of pit lane together with everybody. They're all coming off together and trying to get back up to speed.
Looks like the car just lost the control of the car, went down in the grass, and then tried to save it to keep it going, and just spun back up on the track, and that's what triggered the caution.
Yeah, he's trying to keep up with speed with the pack ahead of him. He overcorrects it up the track into the outside wall. And because of that, iRacing detects there's a car around ahead of somebody. Caution flies. And for the first time tonight, we are under the yellow flag. And the way things are looking, it looks like O'Hara is going to cycle as your race leader. A perfectly timed caution pushes him to the front of the pack. It looks like he'll have the first place over Ippolito. Cody Matthews is second or third behind him. Albert Williams will be fourth out of this as well. Just a big shuffle up from the cars that came on pit road and were just on pit road compared to those that pit a lap prior. Now, of course, it's still early. Only just at the halfway point, really. So you're not going to see really anything extra out of it as we head onto pit lane. And I will say it's going to shake up the lap cars. Quentin Clark, I think, went a lap down. He's going to get around, as is the rest of this field. They all pit. They're going to get their laps back. That fell a lap down because of pit stops. I think free pass is going to be Jeff Marble. I think. I'm not sure. It might actually go to one of the cars that was a lap down elsewise. That would have been Quentin Clark, I think. So that could have been a disaster for Marble, losing the free pass. But things are shuffling about. Ty Ippolito, I don't know if it's showing him going ahead of the rest of these lap cars, but he is taking the race lead. He's pulled to the front of this pack. I guess they're shuffling them back. iRacing might be doing it. I'm not too sure. But Ippolito will cycle back as the race leader for now as they head down the backstretch. And as they do that, we'll take a quick step away and get a word from our sponsor, of this series, the title sponsor of this league, that being Alloy Wheel Repairs. Back here at Daytona, getting ready to go back racing here in the Ron Tonkin Chevy 250 at Daytona to kick off the 2026 season of the FastTrack Alloy Wheel Repair Services Cup Series. Welcome you back to the broadcast. Dawson Allen, Enrique Cucalan in the booth with you here. Getting ready to go back racing on lap number 46. We'll have 55 laps to go when we go back green. One pit stop lies in between these drivers and making it to the end of this race. Ty Ippolito is your race leader. He was on pit road just 4 laps ago under green before the caution came out. For a single car spin coming off pit road, that was the 77 of Andrew Moore Jr. We've had 3 cars have incidents so far tonight. They put them a lap down, as well as Jeff Marble, who wound up a lap down because of missing the grid. He did not get the free pass because of this caution. He was the lead car 1 lap down, holy mouthful. But because of pit stops and things shaking up, he does not get the free pass, and instead, I think, went to the driver of the number 94, Quentin Clark, who is currently out there in the 94 machine. But that sets up Ippolito and Matthews as your front row. Then it's Oakley and Culverbox. Jack Shutt lines up in 5th. Then it's the one of Roger Rios Matias, Jacob Musso, the Musso Missile in 7th. Jake Hickson, a winner here back in 2024. Alan Pajari and Andrew Russo are your top 10. Pace car lights are back on, so we're going to go another lap here.
Yeah, of course. The control tower has had another lap, to sort out the positions here. It's been a mess, of course. The caution in the middle of the pit cycle is always messing things up regarding the order and how cars are supposed to line up here for the restart. This engine back roaring here for another 54 laps.
Ippolito won the pole. He's been the dominant car tonight, leading a bunch of the laps, looking to close the deal here. Still a long way from over, not yet at the halfway point, so he's still got a ways to go, but he's looking pretty strong out in front. 19's been the one to beat.
And we talked about that initial start, how Ippolito had called him back, sort of making a strategy there, pushing him along the straightaways, back and down in the corners. Now he's gonna have a new face behind him. 3rd will be Kyle Oakley.
And Oakley, by the way, teammates with the guy who's in 2nd on the outside lane. Cody Matthews was shocked that the 19 didn't choose the top side, but I guess, just is what it is. You find your friends where you find them. He's thinking everybody's going to drift down to the bottom and take the bottom lane, so why not just ride it out up top? So this time around, we'll go back racing. So we complete lap number 46 into lap 47. It'll be about 54 laps of racing left. Green flag back in the air. We're back racing here at Daytona.
Ryan Conkling in the 37 quickly making his way down to the bottom.
I'd be shocked if these guys take the quickest opportunity they can to get the inside lane. You see, I think the hole's going to open for Cody Matthews to get down, and if he does, in front of Jeff Shutt, that's going to leave Kaltenbach leading the outside lane now.
Kaltenbach getting a push from the 16 of Jake Hickson. Talk about a winner of Daytona.
Hickson all
out the 2 get to the lead.
Yeah, Oliver's back bumper, and they're working here. This top 3 on the outside lane. Kaltenbach, Hickson, and Russo are moving forward, looking to challenge for the race lead.
Yeah, the bottom lane had a big wreck here. That really allowed that outside lane to attack here as they make their way through 1 and 2. The 2 apart. Might clear Ippolito as they make their way down the back.
For now, he's ahead. Does he pull down in line or does he stay up top? Hickson going to go down low. Kaltenbach, late decision, doesn't get clear. Hickson leads the inside line, and now he's side by side for the race lead.
Russo got to quickly have to come here to rescue Kaltenbach as the 60 got a big push there of 4.
And now they're side by side for second. Kaltenbach trying to get the push from Andrew Russo if he can get it to get back up and challenge for the race lead.
Just like the duels. We talked about it in the duels. It's almost like it's if a switch has been flipped outside the lane, battling here up front.
Top 2 cars are clear. Ippolito and Hickson clear of the outside lane. Now we're side by side with Kyle Oakley for third. Now trying to make another charge on the front stretch. And they can kind of hit those switches, like you said. It's like it flips. And now the outside lane can start to march forward. You see them doing it right now through the tri-oval. Kaltenbach getting a big push from Russo. Doing a mighty fine job of that 41 machine. Getting to the front. Started in 31st tonight. Up 26 spots. He's our biggest mover so far this race. Another contender, Jeffrey Souza, 96 more, back in 12th place, up 23 spots from the drop of the green flag 50 laps ago. We're coming across the halfway point this next time by. We'll hit halfway home, 50 down, 50 to go. Once Hickson takes the line, Kaltenbach trying to make the charge on the outside work, but they're starting to fade back quickly. It dies out. It peters out. They had this huge run going, and now it just dies. And that's just kind of how it was in the duels, too. They had a good run, and Ippolito going to the outside, trying to go for the race lead again. Going to side draft the 16, but he's got no help out back. Oh, here comes Kaltenbach.
Back here pushing him.
Big shot coming from the 2 car. Can he clear?
Russo gonna help out the 2 here down the backstretch and into 3. The 19 still not clear. Off turn 4, Ippolito gonna finally clear the 16 of Hickson. Does he drop down?
Oh,
my goodness.
Just enough room. They had it planned out.
And I feel like Ippolito likes working with Kaltenbach a lot, and that's why he that move on Hickson. He just didn't want to ride around there on the inside. He wanted Kaltenbach behind him, giving him the pushes. And once again, the 19 and the 2, 1-2 here in Daytona.
Back out front, and that outside line now led by Andrew Russo. We'll see how they're able to fare. They are mighty struggling right now to keep up front. See, they're splitting apart. Recently tried to side draft, tried to get down to the inside line, ends up just not getting where he needs to go, and now he's getting help from the back. It's Ryan Hedrick in the 47. He's up here. That right near the top of that for a split second there. But now back on the outside lane, and it's just going to be a conveyor belt going backwards. Going the exact opposite way. And they're stacking up big on the outside line. That's really just going to keep killing this outside lane. They're going to just drop it back quickly. Gonna get down now or ride the way back.
Already past the halfway point, lap 54 of lap 100 here in Daytona. A little pit stop at hands here in the next, I would say, about 30 laps. Whereas that caution allowed them to save just a little bit. Some drivers came in to top off. Still a lot of racing here to go in the World Center of Racing. Outside still trying to hand further back with Russo.
You can just see this kind of now stalled out outside lane. They kind of treading water at this point now. It's not dropping back. It's not pushing forward. Just kind of holding their own in 11th place right now is where Russo is the lead car of this group. And they might generate a run here down the front stretch. They might get some more spots back, but it's just not going to go anywhere they want to go. They're not going to get back to the front, I don't think, anytime soon. They're just kind of stuck in a stagnant place.
I feel like it was the outside, and Ippolito as well, making the move on the 16. You know, they made it at just exactly the right time when they needed to, and it has paid off. They are both in the lead right now as the outside continues to try to get back to the front. Energy it had when Kaltenbeck and Ippolito were on their top.
Ooh, jumping up top side, I see some movement to the top side now. The 1 of Roger Ruiz-Matias, the 95 of Jacob Musso, the 94 of Quentin Clark. They're up on top, leading the outside line now.
Yeah, and this is a team that we haven't seen. We saw them in the clash, we saw them in the duels, but this team, the 1, the 95, and the 94, they work really well these super speedway tracks, and they're finally showcasing here tonight. They might even go all the way up to the lead, battling Ippolito now.
Side by side, just about for the race lead. Matthias right there side by side with Kaltenbach. Can he get the pushes he needs? It looks like they're starting to work in their favor through the triangle now. They got up there for a second. They need to try to regather and regroup and make another hard charge at it.
They have a good 1 and 2 here. That momentum will come down the backstretch. Momentum equal down the back here in Daytona. A little bit of separation now on the outside between the 1 and the 95. Musso back now down the front stretch. Any reports from the 2 of Coltenbach. His engine might be getting a little bit of hot here. He's asking Ippolito to sort of move up half a lane in the corners. And you see there, allowing Ippolito to run a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about this. The way Kaltenbach has been pushing, he's been all over the back of Ippolito when he's been behind him. He has been pushing, which is great. It's great if you're Ippolito because, oh, I got a guy behind me that is shoving me clear and he's doing everything to keep me in the lead. But if he's on your back bumper the whole time...
The one of Matias had a bad bump there from the mid-corner.
Bad bumps are bad. Good bumps can be bad later for Kaltenbach, who is running hot, struggling with cooling the car off. If he doesn't take care of it, if he doesn't get air to the engine, if he does not lay off a little bit, he could risk blowing his motor, ending his race, but also, too, a possible stack up behind him if he blows up. Just a lot of things that could happen that could take out a lot of cars in this field if they're not careful.
40 laps to go here at Daytona. Business has picked up the 1 and the 95 working again. The 1 and 2, they're going to have a big run here down the back stretch. Oh! Matias in the wall!
Oh, down goes a 10! Big hit! That's Cody Matthews in the 10 car! We stay green so far. Matthias still up against the outside wall. He'll get down to the apron. Somehow we're going to stay green through all this. But that's going to very much split the pack up. Absolutely hellacious hit for Cody Matthews in the 10. Thank God it's a fake race car, because if that were a real car, that would have been an atrocious hit for him to take in the 10. See the stack up here. Clark gets into Matthews, and Matthews just nowhere to go, and just, man, a heavy hit into that outside wall.
And for the 10 car, shakes up Danica Patrick 2012. Oh, just a big hit to the inside wall.
Watching from the sky, you'll see that stack up on the outside lane. And my goodness, what a hit. We'll do another replay of that one. Same angle here from the blimp camera to show you from the start what happens with the 1 car. Matthias gets in the outside wall. I think a push from Musso gets him up against the wall. Yeah, right there's a bad push, and it stacks everybody up, and Matthews down to the inside wall. Just a big hit. Just look at how rapidly it shoots around. My goodness. And like I said, it's a virtual race car, not a real one. So it's not going to hurt him. Hopefully he didn't have his hands on the wheel locked on, or else and that might hurt. But otherwise, somehow we stay green through all of that.
One driver lucky to evade contact with that 94 car. Quentin Clark was dead sideways there. Used a 10 car. Sort of like a little assist to get back going straight, and he's currently still sitting inside of the top 15, but left front damage on the 94.
Field getting spread out because of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, field spread out because of that. Really just nose to tail. Now, back single file, for the most part, some split packs. Of course, the top 22 just about are in this lead draft. Then you got 23rd back here, the 26th. These 4 cars are together 2.5 seconds just about behind the lead pack. And then some more cars split off by themselves, like Jared Bundy, Joshua Biddle, Jared Lipster, and Jeff Marble all split off. Lipster is the last car in the lead lap. Split off from the pack. Marble is the first car 1 lap down in the lead draft again, but he still needs help to get back on that lead lap.
I was just about to say, the guys who are at high spirits racing. We talked about him, Matias, Clark, and Musso. They were working that outside line really well, and I feel like if they kept it straight, they would have gone a big run down the backstretch. At least got Matthias clear. Situation, and that's what we talked about earlier. Bad bumps can generate a big incident there. the 95 wasn't square with the one. That has resulted in 2 of the team's cars having damage.
Cody Matthews, his day is done. 37th place he'll be here in Daytona, running up front this entire run. Up until that point, he was up in the top 5. But now he finds himself in pit lane, 5 laps down right now, but just looking at this, just going to be the rest of the race going by. He's going to be thinking, what could have happened? What could have been?
It has not been a good night for high spirits racing. We talked about Matthias and Clark having, Matthias having that big hit towards the outside wall. Clark having some left front damage right now, and Jr. We saw him spinning out earlier. Just frankly, the only car still clean of that team is that 95 car, Tonkin, so still running inside of the top 5.
And Musso survives all of that. He stays in the top 5 for the team as they make their way back into turn 3. Single file, nice and easy, not pushing too hard, not trying anything too crazy right now. Just want the long last till we get to our last pit stop of the night. And I can't say I blame him. So Enrique, we're coming up on now what will be lap number 68. Should put us at about 32 laps to go, getting into the window to pitting here. And what's the strategy? Do you pit early in the window or do you pit late in the window?
Of course, there's 2 sides of that strategy. Of course, we see it in other leagues. Of course, I like to call it the Brett Bennett strategy. He likes to pit right when the pit window opens. He'll get all the team cars. Pit as early as possible and then just run flat out to the end. There's 2 sides to that equation. Of course, pitting early could result in some faster lap times, considering you have the fuel to make it while the rest of the field is saving fuel. But another thing is how much fuel do you put in the car? Of course, because this being ever stricter, of course, we have the case of overtime. If we go into overtime. We've seen guys that sometimes they have fuel enough to make it to the end of the scheduled distance, but not enough for overtime. So these drivers, with 30 laps to go next time by, pit stops coming soon, they have to be on their toes. How much fuel do I want in the car? Because they don't want the car in case the race goes green to the end, and they lose time just about the other cars. So it's going to be an interesting situation here to get to pit stops at 3 laps.
So we're hitting 30 laps to go. This time by, it's Ippolito, your pole sitter, still leading this race with help from Sean Kaltenbach, your dual 1 winner. Of course, Kaltenbach has been pushing that number 19 like crazy. He was complaining earlier about the engine getting a little hot. He's just got to have to manage it and be careful because of the runs he's had. He could easily find himself blowing up here if he's not paying attention to minding his temperatures.
And I feel like that's the reason we've seen some drivers maybe move a bit up. There we see with Musso move it up in the entry of the corner. Sometimes in exit as well, just trying to get cleaner on the nose. Running half a lane up, half a lane down. Some of the little things you see here, of course, restricted plate racing.
Yeah, it's just, I can't say that the expression enough. It's a chess match at 200 miles an hour. Now, these guys are really just playing a game of chess against each other on what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And it's all just going to come down to who executes best. But one name that I noticed up here, one name I like up here, it's that number 16, a defending race winner here back in 2024, looking for his second win in this race. That is Jake Hickson. We really haven't talked too much about him tonight, except for a couple moments we mentioned it, but he is up here in a really good spot to try to win this race.
Of course, we saw Hickson working with Tonkin back earlier when they were lined up on the outside.
Talking about getting some well-needed air. He's giving that engine a break from all the hard charging and the hard pushing that he was doing. For Ippolito now, right back to it. I will say, with this single file racing, you have the capabilities of having these stack ups, of having this field have problems, and these drivers did a fantastic job for the most part. I mean, we had just those what, 3 incidents that we've had tonight, only one of which drew a caution. But for the most part, there's not been too many egregious bumps, not been too egregious moves. Everybody's kind of doing what they need to do to get to the end of this race and set themselves up for success in the closing laps. Now, there's still a pit stop at play. They still have to make one more pit stop. As of right now, they cannot make it to the end on fuel. They would need a caution to get a pit stop under yellow to make it. They have to make another stop. So pitting under green is going to be key for the rest of this field if we make it to green flag pit stops.
Of course, you talked about them getting single file and running along. And that's what I like about these Fast Track Cup Series drivers. You know, they understand that they cannot win the race before lap 100, or in the case of overtime, you know, whatever lap it is. But they know they have to make it to the end, hope to put themselves in contention. That's something that we haven't seen really here on BRN. You know, we see other leagues. You know, everybody just fighting every single lap, and you know, sometimes that generates big, you know, what restricted play racing is known for, which is big crashes. But these drivers, they know how, you know, they know they got to make it to the end. And with this being a full season points format, in the sense of, you know, we run 36 races a year like the Cup Series does in real life, you know, they know that every single point matters.
Yeah, you can't risk it doing something stupid. Is the big thing that a lot of these drivers have in their minds. You do not want to throw caution to the wind and take yourself out of a race and then have to wonder later on in the season where that 1 point went, where that 1 point took me out of this. Oh, that happened back in Daytona. I made a dumb move and wrecked out. Oh, that happened when I messed up my pit stop in race number 13. You know, you're going to play it safe. And, you know, we saw this in real life yesterday. That's safe racing. You know, the idea of I can't gain any more than I'm at right now. I'm stuck in a hole. I'm going to have to just hope. We saw that with Kyle Busch yesterday. 2 to go. You're stuck in the middle of the pack, nowhere to go but into the wreck if it happens. So he bails out, and he ends up gaining, I think, 5 spots because of it. Points racing. You're going to have to take those, you know, risk assessments of, okay, I'm not getting anywhere with this. This is what I have to do. And these guys are very good. They're very patient. And that's what I really like about it, is they are able to just take it easy. They're not pushing too hard yet. Now, of course, once we get done with pit stops, all bets are off. If you're back here in 26th place in this lead draft, you're not going to be saying, oh, well, I want to hold off real quick a little bit longer. No, if you're Matthew Gehringer in 26th place, you're not going to be thinking after this pit stop, I need to save for the end of this race. You're going to be thinking, how do I get to the front of this pack?
Yeah, no, and you're right. And of course, a win at Daytona is still a win at Daytona. This being, of course, the biggest race of the year for these Fast Track Cup Series drivers. You know, they all have that one thing in mind, that is winning here at Daytona, one of the most prestigious races that you can win, of course, not only in real life, but also here on the Fast Track Cup Series.
Coming up next time by, we're going to hit 21 laps to go. Expecting pit stops at any lap now for the field to make their final stop of this race to get to the end. And you know, the other pit stops we've had so far, you're not worried too much about those. Those have happened, you're done with it. This is the money stop. This is the stop of the race. This could make or break your case to winning here at Daytona. If you speed on pit road, if you don't get enough fuel in the car, if you take tires when you didn't want to take tires, or vice versa, you know, you really do set yourself up for failure if you don't execute on pit road. That is where this race is won, is on pit lane. So we'll see how this field does here tonight, coming to pit road, coming to 20 laps to go this next time by, and we're at 39 laps they've been out there. I'm expecting pit stops coming in the next maybe 4 or 5 laps. And actually, no, here comes one now.
Yeah. Andrew Russo in the 41.
Ooh, I think that was Souza that came in hot there. He got just down to speed and on pit road. So there you go. How about instead of the next 4 or 5 laps, how about now? Well, right about now is when we'll see some pit stops being made. So the field now in the hands of Ippolito still with 20 to go. Does he decide now's the time to come? Leaders stacked up, nose to tail. Coming through 3 and 4. Do they get down to pit road now? Kaltenbach does. Here comes some of the field. They're coming to pit road for what's going to be the final stop. Everybody's trying to get as much as they can. Entering pit lane. Some guys sending it there on the bottom, but they get down okay. No problems here, but it's led by the 2. Sean Kaltenbach. He bails out on Ippolito. He's coming to pit road looking for some fuel, maybe some tires, and looking to get to the end of this race and looking to take home a checkered flag.
Kaltenbach's going to be fuel only. I believe Kyle Oakley is going to beat him off pit road here.
As does Danny Gutierrez. Gutierrez gets out. Look at the 08 machine making moves through this field now. And I think it's going to be a case of taking less fuel than the rest. Only 6 seconds in his pit stall. I imagine that's going to play the factor. The 2 cars coming by themselves. Ippolito and Hickson staying out as they will lap these cars, I think, here shortly. Maybe. They might get to them. But Oakley and Gutierrez beat Kaltenbach off of pit lane. And as they try to follow up, the leaders are forward up, still nose to tail, looking to catch up to these lap cars. Now here come the leaders.
Down pit road. Yep.
And they're going to get down okay. I see Hickson getting ahead of Ippolito onto pit lane. Could that be a defining moment of this race?
No mistakes. Don't overshoot the stall.
Ippolito with the first stall on pit lane. He'll have the quickest out once he gets rolling. You see, rolling off pit road first, John Broussard is going to win the race off pit road for this group. As they're 3 wide coming off, they're going to have to settle that quickly further back here. Looks like they will, but it looks like it's going to be Kyle Oakley who's going to storm around these leaders and take over the point. We'll see how they roll off. Broussard leading this field on the backstretch. Oh, car around!
Oh!
It's Kyle Oakley!
Caution is out! Oh no!
Somehow everybody misses him. And what would have been the race lead, now he finds himself shuffled all the way back to 30th. And we were coming around to 16 laps to go. Instead, we go under the yellow flag once again here at Daytona. Take a look at the BRN replay to see what happened to the 17 machine. They were catching these cars coming off of pit lane. As they were doing so, I think he might have just gotten a bad bump from Gutierrez. Indeed, he does. Down on the apron, then around, almost saves it, slides, and then overcorrects back up the track. And just really lucky nobody hits him here. Just an off-center bump there. Just about on that left rear from Gutierrez. And that does Oakley in. Right on board with the 08 machine. Here's the talk about getting the wall as well through that exchange. So once again, in the middle of pit stops, we have a caution to shake this field up. And we're coming around now to 15 to go, presented by 72 Diecast on eBay. Diecast is now an official licensed retailer for Lionel Racing Diecast, so get all your new and old diecast from them on eBay. You can tell them Dawson sent you.
Of course, I get a pretty bunch of a lot of diecasts from 72 Diecast on eBay. Now that they're an authorized retailer, even better.
Yeah, really good, and that's and Dale, I know the guy. I know Dale personally. Dale's a really cool guy. He worked hard to get that deal put together with Lionel to become a retailer. So it's really cool to see the fruits of his labor blossom the way they have. So shout out to him for getting that deal together and having now a licensed retailer position with Lionel Racing. But like I said, he also got plenty of old used diecast, older diecast you could add to your collection. There's some pretty good ones there too. I've sold him plenty of diecast as well. I know I've built up his collection of diecast to sell. So reach out to him on eBay. You know, find him 72 diecast and get you some new diecast today. So we are coming down to crunch time here at Daytona. Pit stops have been had. Caution comes out right in the middle, near the end of it pretty much. And what that does is that means that everybody's good to go. I would say everybody's good to go.
Yeah, and with everybody being good to go, and we'll probably a restart with about 12, 13 laps to go, the drivers are going to be going. They're not going to ride around in the train anymore. The outside line is going to be as aggressive as ever, as it has ever been. We're going to see pushing. We're going to see shoving. We, of course, won't be surprised if we see the big one hit here late in Daytona. But, you know, the drivers are going to be full throttle here.
I would say the biggest benefit to this happening, there's some guys that took a little bit shorter fuel stops. I don't know if it was a case of necessity to try to get up front or if it was a case of they actually were able to make it work with the fuel they had left. But this is a huge opportunity for those guys to not have to worry. You know, they might have taken less fuel on that pit stop. It doesn't matter now. They got it reset. They're pacing now. They have a chance to save a little more fuel, and they have a chance to try and go for the win here to kick off the 2026 season.
Of course, things being different this year with the points format, drivers, you know, win doesn't lock them into the playoffs anymore. Saw the championship 4 last year: Jeffrey Marble, Quentin Clark, Alan Pajeri, and Tyler Marble. Now this year, it's completely different. Drivers haven't get used to a new points format. And speaking of Tyler Marble, we haven't talked about him all day. Usually talk about marbles here in Daytona, but currently Tyler Marble in third, second on the inside row. 48 car has been quietly making his way to the front. Keep an eye out on that number 48 Chevrolet.
Yeah, he's looking to get his second win here at Daytona. Of course, the winner back in 2022, the first race in the next-gen cars for this league at Daytona. So he's looking to see if he can pick up another victory here in the 250. And that's, again, it's a case of knowing where to put yourself, when to put yourself there. And he's in a fantastic spot. But how about, of course, our race leader now, the 53, John Broussard. We've not talked about him, period. I don't think I mentioned his name maybe twice tonight. He's now leading this race with now 13 to go when we go green. He will be the control car with a pretty decent shot to win in this race. So for what could be the final restart of this race, it could be the last chance for drivers to make swings, to make moves, to try and climb to the front, to try and claim a checkered flag here at the World Center of Racing. In just 13 laps time, one driver will reach glory, and the other 36 will taste defeat and wonder what could have been. It's Broussard, Ippolito, the front row, heading for the restart zone. Get ready to go back at it. Green flag back in the air. 13 laps to go at Daytona.
Pretty good restart for Ippolito. Gonna get some here. He might be clear. He is.
Inside line stacked up big time behind Broussard. Ippolito is clear up front for now. Can he get down? He has enough gap to get down if he wants to.
Another driver who we talked about in the rules. Haven't talked about him today. How about that 24 car as well, Brandon Saylor?
I had not said his name once tonight. Once tonight. And that's just the way the beast works. It doesn't matter, where you start the race, where you run the first 75 laps, because with 13 to go, we got new blood up in the front of this field trying to challenge Ippolito for the win.
On the outside, Danny Gutierrez getting help from James Wallace in 67. Gutierrez is the winner of the Clash last year. He knows how to get a victory lane here in Daytona.
Oh, they're struggling the outside lane, though, trying to make moves for it. Here comes Marble on the outside. That's Tyler Marble trying to lead the top side.
Getting help from Hickson, the 16. Talked about those two, winner in 2022 and winner in 2024. It's another even year, so we'll be surprised to see one of those two in victory lane once again.
But they're going to have to pass. The guy who's been tough to pass tonight, Ty Ippolito, leading this field, heading to the line with 11 laps to go. You see the 2 wide, now 3 wide further back. They're all over the place back here, trying to sort themselves out if they can. They do. They shuffle back in line together. And in this gaggle of cars here, the 15, Jeff Marble, he's back on the lead lap. He's got a chance at this race if something breaks his way. And he's going to try to push for it. Up front, Ippolito to the top side. Marble pushing him now as Haynes leads the bottom lane. They've stacked up behind him. The inside lane just not going.
Oh, Hickson drops down low. Ippolito got a block. Tyler Marble now has Danny Gutierrez on the outside. Here with 3 and 4.
3 drivers up here in the top 4 who have won this race before. Ippolito has not found victory lane here at this super speedway, and now with 10 laps to go at Daytona, it's still anybody's game.
Both lanes, equal momentum, inside prevailing here through 1 and 2.
Oh, they are so tight on each other's back bumpers. It's just a frisky game as they make their way down the backstretch. Marble now pulling clear of the lead.
Gutierrez gonna drop with him to the inside.
He was middle of the pack all night tonight, and with 9 to go, he leads the field.
Now you're gonna be more than half of this race. How do you get yourself back in position? He has the 16, however, behind him. If they manage to get clear, I wouldn't be surprised if to pull out to the outside.
And it looks like he might get a shot to clear right now. Hickson's going to get clear of the 67 car of James Wallace. Does he make the move? There they go! Charging back on the outside lane, Ippolito with help from Gutierrez. Or with help from Hickson, pardon me. Gutierrez pushes Marble on the inside line.
Key factor in the outside lane has been the 67 of James Wallace. We haven't seen the same cooperation with the 39 of Ryan Haynes, and that's what has made the difference here. The third car.
Oh, they're stacking up on the inside lane. They're okay. They save it for now. But they stacked up hard on the inside lane and choked up that bottom lane big time.
Oh, Hickson gets sent up the track. He's crashing.
And here's where they all pile up. They're wrecking on the backstretch too. Someone was around. I couldn't tell who. Actually, it's a 98 car around on the back straightaway. That is Jarrett Lipster. He goes around. A lot of cars involved in that one. And with less than 10 to go, another caution flag flies here at Daytona. Late race drama. The story of this one. We'll take a look at the BRN replay to see what happens to Jake Hickson, pardon me, and what gets him out of sorts. Pushes from James Wallace in the 67 car. You'll see it right here. Just a bad bump. Up the track he goes, and then around he goes. A lot of cars just nowhere to go. Trying to miss it.
And actually, looking back at the replay here, you know, a fantastic job by more than half the field. You know, that the 60 car being, you know, going around first car on the top side, that usually generates everyone to panic and causes everyone to panic. And we've seen bigger crashes come out of that, but, you know, great job from more than half the field avoiding the 16.
Yeah, really maybe only 4 cars that got damage out of that, I think. Just 4 drivers. Lipster got some damage. I think it might have been Bill Benedict in the 90 that got into him. I think that was who hit him. Maybe it was Glenn Grigsby. I could not tell, but it was a bluish car, and it was not heavy contact. And then we had the issue with Hickson. Just not a lot of damage to a lot of those cars. But still, it brings us under caution, and it puts us pacing with just 7 laps to go in the biggest race of the season. Imagine we'll go another lap under caution. That is Tracy Powers, your outside bolster, that got the free pass. Back on the lead lap in 34th, leaving us 34 cars in contention. 35th place is Joshua Johnson, still a lap down in this race. If we get another caution, gets a shot at it.
For these drivers, Super Speedway Racing, 4 laps to go here in Daytona, but the racing here at these plate tracks is still not over. Next week, they head down to Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta for 130 laps of action over there. You know, that Daytona and Atlanta, they're 2 different beasts, of course. Echo Park has always been known for its handling characteristics and how you actually need, you know, a car that right around the bottom, maybe go up top. But these drivers, of course, they might take some of the things they have seen here today and apply them next week at Echo Park. It's gonna be interesting to see once we head down to the ATL.
So we're getting ready to re-rack them, restack them, and send them back out on their way here with what'll be 4 laps to go. Your race leader, driving the number 19 machine, that is Ty Ippolito. He's got 2 wins to his name here in this league. 2-time winner. Compared to the guy in the outside lane, James Wallace has never won a race here in the Fast Track Cup Series. He looks to change that tonight, winning the biggest race you could win to do so. Yep, Brian Conklin right there in third, pardon me. Tyler Marble, a winner of this race back in 2022, back in 4th. Ryan Hedrick in the 47. He's also looking for his first career win. Danny Gutierrez looking for his 2nd win in this race. Andrew Russo in the 41 car. He's looking to contend for what would be his 4th career win. Kyle Oakley, recovering after that spin earlier. He's seeking win number 2 of his career. Quentin Clark coming out tonight looking for number 9. And then Ryan Haynes in the 39 car. He is looking for what I believe is going to be his 2nd as well. And just for record keeping, the winningest driver of all time in this league, most wins here, driver in 4th place right now, Tyler Marble. If he wins tonight, it would be his 30th win. 4 laps away from immortality for one driver to put their name in the record books as a winner here at Daytona. Pace car is off. Ippolito to the restart zone. Back to green. Back to racing. 4 more laps at Daytona. Oh, look at Kyle Oakley. Jumping to a 3rd lane for a second. Dives back to the middle inside lane. Oh, and the back wrecking. Jeff Shutt got sent to the outside wall. We stay green for now. Everybody trying to gather up in the background. That dissipates the front pack. Look at the move being made up here. It's Ryan Hedrick to the outside lane.
Hedrick now with help from Wallace as they make their way through 3. A bit of separation now between Conklin and Russo on the inside. The outside of Tyler Marble making it 3 wide. Almost.
He tried it. The door was closed, so he stays in line. But here comes a run for Hedrick on the outside lane.
Oh, and now Conklin has left the back bumper of Ippolito. Wallace and Hedrick are going to have a big run as they head down into turn number 1.
The 2 cars leading this outside line have never won in this league, and they're pushing with all they've got to try to get there.
Hedrick now clear down the backstretch with help from Wallace. The inside has absolutely imploded here.
They'll dive down to the bottom. Wallace and Hedrick, 1 and 2 right now. Marble leads the outside line with help from Gutierrez.
Almost a wreck in the back. They keep the corner. Oh, Tyler Marble gets turned.
In front of the field, caution is out. Multiple cars involved. More crashing. It's the big one in the tri-oval. Still wrecking. But you called it. Tyler Marble went around, and that was the chain reaction that set it all off. And just like that, we're going to overtime. It's going to take a lot to sort through on this one. Take a look at your beer on replay. This is from the Skybox. 48 and the 08 get hooked up together. They're trying to make the run to the outside lane to catch the 47 and the 67. And you'll just see it right here. Off center, into the left rear, and around they go. And after that, it is on.
Yeah, everyone trying to avoid the incident. Lead to the 36 of Meter, the 90, the 39, the 95 all get collected, along with the 53 of Bouchard.
You'll just see it all happen here through the tri-oval. It'd be easier to tell you who wasn't involved in that accident. That includes your race leader, Ryan Hedrick. James Wallace is second. Ippolito gets by for third. Saylor is in fourth. And Joshua Biddle rounds out your top 5.
Yeah, and you know, what a great, you know, great work by both Hedrick and James Wallace to get to the front of the field. But now you're Ippolito, you know, people around you haven't worked with them all day, and that's a little bit of a disadvantage of leading here in Daytona. You're just half a car behind you, not really, you know, you're just used to one type of push, and for Ippolito, that's the 2 of Colton back. You know, now with new faces here, new places, you just don't know who's gonna push right. You know, who's gonna be square, who's gonna give you the run to clear, and that's what we saw with the 47 and the 67. Just some separation on the inside, and that's what allowed them to clear and be in position here to win at Daytona.
And you know what the saying is? Don't count anybody out until the checkered flag falls. The free pass that time, the 57 of Joshua Johnson. He has been down the lap pretty much the entire race. But now coming into overtime, he's going to get his lap back. He'll be back in contention, get a string of cautions, get things going on. He'll have a chance to win it. Now, I am aware that we have a hard cutoff at 11 p.m. Eastern time. As of right now, it is 10:47. We have 13 minutes to get this finish in. We should be getting the 1 to green this time by, and then the green flag next go around. I believe. I could be wrong. But that's going to be a key as well. This cutoff at 11 p.m. is something we're going to have to be talking about throughout the season, especially now tonight to start it off. We're already going to hit that point where we're coming close to it. What does that mean for the drivers to realize as well, you know, we're not just racing laps too. There's a timer involved in when this race can be shut off at any given second.
Yeah, of course, I believe, yeah, they should be able to get this overtime attempt, and only 3 attempts at overtime. So, you know, 1 overtime, it's all good. 2 overtimes, it should be good for 2 overtimes. But if it gets to 3 overtimes, you know, then the timer comes into the equation. You know, who was leading at the time of caution? But hopefully it doesn't come to that. I want to see a nice clean green finish here at Daytona.
The front row, 2 drivers seeking their first career win. This is Hedrick's 33rd career start. For James Wallace, this is start number 28. Brendan Saylor, he's looking for his 3rd career win. I mentioned Ippolito, he is looking for, I believe as well, his 3rd. Joshua Biddle, 5th place, he's looking for career win number 1 as well, if he can get it. And it all comes down to what could be the final restart of this race. This race, of course, 250 miles, 100 laps. How about a little bit of overtime? 103 laps now, the scheduled conclusion of this race. And the field getting ready to finish off this first race of the 2026 season. with what could be an all-timer. We saw exciting finishes in the duels. Will we get them here tonight? And oh, hey, by the way, in 8th place, Jeff Marble. He's back in the top 10. Pace car's off, coming to the restart. Back up through the gears, though. Go. It's Hedrick. It's Wallace. 2 laps to settle it. Overtime at Daytona.
Great push from Ippolito now to Hedrick. Inside line has to form up here.
Hedrick does not want the 19 to clear on the outside lane because he knows what he does. But he's clear. Wallace is not able to get going. Does Ippolito bail out on that number 47?
One thing you haven't seen today is 3 wide. Does someone dare to send a 3
Oh,
wide?
there
There goes
goes.
Ippolito to the outside.
Wallace pushing Ippolito. Hedrick getting pushed by Biddle. Coming through 3 and 4.
76 pushing 47, 67 pushing the 19. Ippolito gonna clear down the front stretch, coming back to the white flag.
1 more lap to go here at Daytona. Ippolito, now here comes Wallace to
James
the
Wallace.
inside. Wallace to the bottom. The
But he
push
doesn't have
on the
any help right now.
outside. Ooh, Ippolito up the track a little bit there. Sailor on the back bumper of it.
We saw the 67 pushing the 47
Oh,
earlier, the crash
around.
behind.
Marble in the back
Oh.
is around. Big accident in the backstretch. Up front.
They're racing
Here
back to the
comes
checkers.
Wallace. Wallace on the inside lane looking for his first career win. Can he get it done here at Daytona? Or will the pole sitter get the charge in the front stretch? Out of turn 4, Wallace is in front. They're touring in the back. It's not going to matter. James Wallace is a winner in the Fast Track Cup Series. How about that? The first official race on BRN for the Fast Track Cup
And it
Series.
doesn't disappoint.
And it doesn't disappoint you. It's a first-time winner here at Daytona. Gonna ease it down to the front stretch towards that start-finish line. Give him just a second, and then he'll let it burn it down. Up against the wall, nose to it, and he's gonna burn it down. Winning here at Daytona. How about that for a way to get your first career win? So as he burns it down, we'll
You know,
take a
we
look
talk-
at that last lap.
Yeah.
This accident right here that Jeff Marble gets caught up in, you see the 15 just get turned on the backstretch. Around he goes, and they stack up here, the back of the field. But that's what kills the outside lane. That's really what does it in. They just don't have enough cars. The inside lane formed up with 6 cars deep, almost 7 cars deep. And they wrecked across the line. What a finish that was, Enrique.
Yeah, and of course we talked about domination by the Blue Ovals throughout the week. They won the Clash, they won the duels, they led the most laps. But at the end, it is Chevrolet and James Wallace who come through to win at Daytona. What a finish.
Well, we'll dial up our top 3 finishers here from Daytona tonight. First things first, we'll start off with our 3rd place finisher, that being Ty Ippolito. We'll take a look quick at the results page here. A couple names. Didn't really call out a lot of these guys tonight, but they had some great finishes. Jeffrey Souza in the 96 got a 7th place run out of tonight's race. Great run for him and that number 96 team. Pajari, 6th place, really quietly got up there. He did a great job. And John Broussard right out the top 10. Mentioned the wreck on the last lap. Took out Jeff Marble, his son Tyler. He comes home 17th tonight. Danny Gutierrez was him. 18th place, those two wound up. The wreck on the last lap, shuffling a lot of cars further back down the running order into the bottom half of that top 30. And then the rest of your field, including the DNFs tonight, Jacob Musso, Matthew Geringer, Kyle Oakley, Roger Rios, Matthias, and Cody Matthews did not make it to the end of tonight's race. They finished multiple laps down. So let's dial up our 3rd place finisher tonight, Mr. Ty Ippolito. Hey, Ty, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, well, it was a dominant run for you here tonight, but you come up 2 spots short of the win. What more do you think you could have gotten done to try and take the victory lane tonight?
Yeah, I just needed some help from my teammates. Unfortunately, Jake got caught up in a wreck a couple laps ago. I think if we got together, one of us would have won, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. But all in all, still a really great performance for that team. Out front the majority of the race, won the pole for it, and just really dominant race here for you tonight. How does that feel just to kick off the season? While it's not a win, still having that kind of showing to kick it off.
Yeah, for sure, it's no win, but good start to the season for sure. Good momentum heading into the season.
Well, alrighty, it's a 3rd place run for you tonight. Ty, teammate, sponsors, shout-outs. Let the people know what you got going for you.
Yeah, I just want to thank all the guys on Dynamic Autosports, Jake, Allen, Brandon, my spotter, and the Spartan Sim Racing graphic.
Alrighty, it's a 3rd place run for the dominant car of the night. 85 laps led, but he'll come home 3rd here at Daytona. That's Ty Ippolito. Congrats on the 3rd place run, Ty. And we'll kick it to Enrique. I believe we'll be catching up with our 2nd place finisher tonight, that being the driver of the number 47.
Ryan Hedrick, it's Enrique Kukalan up at the BRM booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, Ryan, we saw you quietly in the top 10 all day, just running around, just usual stuff here in Daytona. Ultimately, we saw you working with the 67 there at the end. You pushing you being pushed by the 67 at the end of the race. It was the other way around. How was that race for you?
No, it was a good time. Got switched up there at the end, and thought I had a chance at the win there. And James came back out around on the outside. I was able to tuck back up behind him and got a run. Almost looked kind of Riley Herbst-ish to get into his back end and push him around to the victory. So good deal for Boomerang Motorsports.
Yeah, and you talk, of course, a good deal. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast. These first 2 races being back-to-back, Daytona and Atlanta. Is there anything you can take from, the high banks of Daytona to apply next week at Atlanta Motor Speedway?
I mean, yes and no. A lot of it is just trying to keep tight in that pack, trying to anticipate when you see trouble up in front of you, where you want to be. I just think that this was a really good showing for us. I like how we went out there, handled the gas saving, went out, did what we needed to do. We were there at the end. Sucks that Brian and Josh got caught up in something early on, but it was really nice to take it home 1-2.
Of course, a great start to the season for the team, of course, as you mentioned. Any teammate sponsor shout-outs? You got that 47 car up on the podium.
Oh, yeah, you just got to give the boys back at the garage, shout out for the Goose Island IPA Chevrolet, DraftKings, big pile of money on the side. So we'll see how many of these we can get. Hopefully get a victory here soon.
Well, all right. That is your 2nd place finisher, Ryan Hedrick. Congratulations, Ryan. We'll let you go, but hope to see you next week at Echo Park.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we will send it back up to Dawson, see if we can catch up with our race winner, James Wallace.
Scoring your first career victory is always a big deal, but scoring it at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, is something that dreams are made of. And tonight, it is a reality. For the driver of the 67, James Wallace comes home, your first career win, James. First things first, congrats on the win.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, James, so earlier on in the race, we got strung out single file, and the one person that was the first to kind of jump up and explore with that second line with the lap down cars was you in the 67 car, and you made really good progress. Did any of that maybe come into play at the end of this race, what you learned from that for the runs you could get and everything?
A little bit. I mean, I definitely, that first half of the race, I was messing around just trying to figure out what the draft was about, any changes they made and stuff. So, yeah, it definitely helped out.
Absolutely. Well, near the end of the race, of course, too, you started getting yourself shuffled further towards the front. You made some more moves through the field. The pit stops that cycled everything around, you were able to get out near the front half of the field. Those last couple laps there with the cautions coming out and everything happening, what was the nerves like just watching everything just keep happening, keep tightening the field back up, keep bringing us back to where it felt like it was going to be a little bit harder to try to get the checkered flag?
Yeah, I definitely, I was joking with my teammate Ryan that um, the first two cautions I kind of didn't want to see just on the fact that things looked like they were coming, they were going to sort of unfold good for us. Um, I think that last one, I feel bad. I need to talk to the 16. I think I was looking at the replay. I think I caused that last one. I was pushing him and he got squirrely. So I don't know any other way to put it. Um, but yeah, they started getting aggravating after a while, just wanting to the nerves, just trying to get a good finish. It's cool to get the 500 or I guess the 250 or whatever it is. But yeah,
Alrighty, well, it is a first career win. It comes at Daytona for you, James. Teammates, sponsors, shoutouts. What got you to victory lane tonight?
definitely my team, Boomerang Motorsports, been with them for a while. We all enjoy racing together. This is our second year with Full Throttle and really appreciate Marvel Woods putting things up for us and you coming along and broadcasting this year, man. Seems to be a good year so far.
Absolutely. Kick off the 2026 season with a win at Daytona, looking to build off that momentum next week at Atlanta. But tonight, he savors a victory at the World Center of Racing. It's James Wallace, first career win here at Daytona. Congrats on the win, James.
I appreciate it. Thank you now.
Well, Enrique, I mean, it was a tale of two races. The first half of this race, very calm, very collected, nothing too hectic or crazy. But then after that, business picked up once we got clear of pit stops. Once we got inside 15 laps to go, things really kind of set themselves up to put on a show.
Yeah, and of course we talked about it. Once that halfway portion of the race hit, it's like almost if it a switch had been flipped. We saw the train racing come back a little bit throughout the later portions of the second run of the race, but overall you just got to go for the win at Daytona, and even though with a big crash on the last lap, and honestly heartbreak for Ippolito, most laps left, but that's just super speedway racing. It's sometimes the things you less expect can take the win away from you, but what a great first showing for the Fast Track Cup Series here on BRN, and another super speedway race next week at Echo Park Speedway. It's definitely going to be one to watch, but plenty of action still coming in here this week. Slide Jump Racing League returns tomorrow for the fourth race of season 16. It's been an absolute domination by Cruise Auto Racing so far. 4 of their cars in the top 4 in points. Yusuf Gali, Bridger Olsen, and Alec Martinez have been your 3 winners this season, and they head to Richmond tomorrow for some short track racing, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central here on BRN. Wednesday night, the second race of the Zascar Cesta Cup Series Chase brings us to Watkins Glen. AJ Hyder, we believe he should be back for Watkins Glen. It was a little bit of a calm race last Wednesday that saw Chris Lilly come home with a win. That will be Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, right here on BRN. And Thursday night, the Sulphur Racing League returns once again for their 14th race of the season. Only 2 to go in the Sulphur Racing League, in season 10 of the Sulphur Racing League, as they head over to the new North Wilkesboro Speedway for some short track racing there, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central on BRN. So it's going to be a fun week here, and we're just getting started here on BRN, but what a great fresh showing for the Fast Track Cup Series.
What a fantastic show. I want to thank you to all the drivers for coming out and putting on an excellent race for us here at Daytona. I want to thank you, as always, for tuning in here tonight on BRN, and thank you to Enrique for joining me up here in the booth. We look forward to the racing that comes up this week. We hope you do as well, as we get ready to march along this season in 2026 here. We get ready to march along. As others start to wind down, we kick things off tonight, and it's an exciting one. Thanks for tuning in. It's Dawson Allen signing off for Enrique Cucalan, saying so long, and have a great rest of your night. And congrats again to James Wallace, a first career winner here at Daytona.
Running on empty, caffeine drains. Can't change the station, but there's something I can do for me. Oh, I'm fixing that damn wiper blade and I'm cleaning the slate today. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade and I'm seeing my way through the blade. I'll do it myself, don't need no one else. Sick and tired of always asking for help. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade and I'm cleaning my soul of the rain. I'm fixing that damn wiper blade and I'm cleaning the slate today.